All right, Guru Nation, we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Alicia Moore is also streaming on her LinkedIn and her
Yes, I
YouTube. This is something like this is the first of like maybe I'll do more of these, like at least once or twice a month. Career Corner. I know we're in a very bad like market right now, like a bad job market at basically everywhere except site level. Um, and depending on the type of site you're at, maybe even at the site level. So there's not a lot of options for job seekers. Like if you were looking to get into this industry, your best bet was in the last 4 years. If
am.
you're looking to get in now, there's good
You
and
might as
bad
well
news. The
forget.
bad news is it's yeah. Well, it's a lot harder, but you got to do more things. You got to put in more effort to get noticed, to get to the front door. And so we've got a couple people on. We've got Alicia Moore. We've got Sheila Johnson Rocha, who's she's actually director on a therapeutic area leadership team for
Mm.
oncology. And we've got a good like career mix here. And we've got Harleen. Harleen's someone that reached out to me recently that is actually seeking employment. Is that right, Harleen?
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into everyone's, and then if you want to join, message me on LinkedIn if you want to join live, and we'll talk about your situation. But maybe we'll just go around really quick. Uh, Sheila, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am Sheila Johnson Rocha. I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. It's nice and hot here. I've been in the industry of life sciences for about 21 years now. I started out working my way through law school. So I took a temp job as a receptionist at PPD. And I became so intrigued with research that I kind of just started asking to be a part of meetings as a receptionist and, join in on training so I could really get a feel for the underworkings and the foundation and regulations because I knew that I wanted to move forward in the industry. Yeah, it's been 21 years. I've been predominantly aligned with oncology. And then about 10 years ago, I added cell and gene therapy, rare disease, rare pediatric into, I guess, my portfolio of therapeutic areas. I am actually currently looking for work because the industry has been quite a nightmare. With a lot of large pharma wanting to participate in the cell and gene therapy, which is generally reserved for small biotech, and then pulling out. And so, yes, I've been looking for a job for
Mm,
about 450 days. And in that time, I've, spent a lot of energy on building a platform to pull together a lot of the innovations and stakeholders within the industry. My goal is to have a collaborative platform for sites, for life science teams, for patients that are interested, to come together and really start communicating collectively because I've noticed that there are so many different organizations and initiative groups that are kind of working on the same thing and a lot of duplication of effort and not really paying attention to the shift in regulation. So I think that if we bring everybody together and have like a centralized place, of course, I can't get everybody, but the more people, the better to get perspectives from all of the different stakeholders in life sciences.
yes.
That's a little bit about me.
Well, thank you. I mean, Sheila, we're going to get back to you. Your situation's everyone's situation's unique, but you're in the place where I think you actually have a lot of options just because of how long you've been in the industry and your background. But uh, yeah, I mean, look, guys and gals, it's tough for everyone, whether you're
Oh
brand new,
yeah.
whether you're a veteran. There's just
I
pivots
hate
you
to
got to
say
make.
it. I hate to say it that, but I've applied for over 2,000 jobs. And I've heard about there being some kind of glitch or issue with the algorithms because out of those 2,000, I've only heard back from like 8 people and gotten ghosted for the most part. So that's where I really started kicking off trying to build this business because it seems like, trying to look for a job in this industry is not easy at all. I used to have headhunters knocking down my door because I had a rare experience with being able to do oncology, rare pediatric cell and gene therapy. And now that doesn't even matter. It's just kind of like I'm just sitting out here floating.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
there's
a
things we
tough
can do.
industry.
There's things we can do. Actually, yeah. Well, I'll save it till the end. Let's go around. We got more people jumping on. I got a special celebrity guest gonna pop on soon. And if you're leaving comments, um, let's just go through the comments. We're not gonna ignore you guys, okay? Tamara Adams, I'm a new graduate who's a job seeker looking to get into research. I'm starting from the bottom as a research assistant and hoping to get a clinical research coordinator role. You will, okay? Ritu says hi. She's giving advice to people. Um, I appreciate it. We got another Ritu. Having a solid resume with a catching keyword is really important. Tamara says, I have a BS in biology with previous research experience in the lab as an assistant and a medical scribe. This is like Ashley Margot right here,
Oh
who's going to
yeah.
be on tonight. Ashley
Change
Margot is
that
the
to
same
medical
start.
writing.
Yeah, medical, right?
Change that to
Exactly.
medical writing. Yeah.
There you
Because
go.
there's definitely transferable skills. It just needs to use the lingo in the industry, which is medical
Yes.
writing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. We're going to get some more comments too. Let's go to Alicia Moore. Alicia Moore, someone I've known for like about a year maybe.
Has
You
it been
came
a
to
year?
SOS. Maybe it's been like a year, maybe a little less, but you were SOS panelist.
Yes,
Amazing. Like tell us a little bit more about you. You've been up to a lot since then.
I have. So, my background, let's just reel it all the way back. So, I originally started off as a phlebotomist years ago, was a phlebotomist for 4 years. I graduated with my BS in medical technology. They call it clinical lab scientist with a minor in chemistry. So, I worked as a clinical lab scientist from 2009 until 2021. So essentially, it's kind of not necessarily similar. I have a lot of transferable skills. So there's a lot of monitoring of reagents, medication like RhoGAM, issuing out blood, FFP, running the CBC results, CMP, rotavirus, blood cultures, things like that. So I was I had to actually run all the departments at one point in time and manage it by myself whenever I worked on nights. And then there were times that I actually had to play phlebotomist too. So I was doing the medical technology job along with phlebotomy and calling critical results to nurses and doctors. Eventually, I was blessed to get into the research industry in February 2021 as an in-house CRA, or they call it a remote site monitor as well. I did that for about a year. I was actually assigned within that first few months, 50 sites. So I had to manage 50 sites on my own. And I didn't think I was going to make it. And then eventually I had the opportunity to get promoted to associate project manager in the cell and gene therapy department, unfortunately, for about 9 months. So unfortunately, that project was canceled due to some of the reasons that Sheila was mentioning. And then they offered me the job as a data verifier. So basically, I'm doing source data verification on CTAs, INDs, stability reports, things like that. to sum it up in a nutshell. I also have my own business that I'm looking to transition healthcare individuals into the clinical research industry. I know it's difficult right now, but I know I'm able to do it, provide them the information, the foundation that they need to get themselves prepared. So I have that business, and that's pretty much it. And then I'm actually looking into getting into the clinical trial manager role. I've been applying. I've got mentors. I've taken Tiffany Ashton's course, the CTM course, which was amazing. It was amazing. And then I also participated in the SOS conference as well on patient recruitment and retention. So I have a lot of things I'm working on in the background.
And CTM is next for you, right? That's what you really
Yes,
want to
it
do.
is. Absolutely.
Yep. It's tough to get, but it's definitely doable, and you're on the right track. And we're gonna get back to how to do that. Okay, Bhavana, how's it
Okay.
going? Bhavana? Bhavana?
Yeah, hi Dan.
Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. So I'm Bhavna and I'm from India. I did my bachelor's in genetic engineering from India, and later I went to Germany and worked there in wet lab for around 2 years. Then moved back to India, and I wanted to shift my career a little bit and get into clinical research. And I just showed up at a hospital, and thanks to Dan for giving me the courage. And I just showed up, and they gave me a position as a clinical research coordinator there. And now I'll be moving to USA in few months, and yeah, fingers
Wow.
crossed. That's a whole new different job market, so I have to figure that out.
Wait, but say that part again. You just showed up. I think
Yes.
a lot more people need to hear that. So no one told you to show up. You just showed up.
No, I just showed up with my resume.
And what did they tell you when you showed up? Did they say
So,
to wait or
um,
drop off your
I
resume?
mean, I called them up. I called them up before, and they asked me to come. Um, I went and I spoke to the PI, and he was
Hmm.
interested. He said I can do training as a CRC. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I cannot stress
That's
that part
great.
enough. Yeah, that's showing up. Look, I was at my site the other day, one of my clinics, and the
Mhm.
office manager was there. I was talking to her. I said, "Hey, one of my friend's daughters wants to work here. Can she email you her resume?" And this is like, I know this office manager. She's like, "Yeah, that's fine, but I prefer if they just show up with their resume. It shows me a lot more about who they are." And then I said, "How many people actually show up?" And she said, "Almost no one." She
Oh,
basically told me, if you show up with your resume, you're getting hired. And almost no one does. And there's a lot of people out there. Of course, it feels weird. It's not natural. You, you're afraid of rejection. It's weird to show up. The receptionists, they're gonna tell you we don't
yeah.
do that. No soliciting.
Mhm.
You got to fight through all that to get to the decision maker. And I think that obviously it worked in India, and I think it's gonna work here too. I mean, you're hearing it from other people, not just me, that it's working. So thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate that. We're gonna get to it. Harleen, you're on. You're next. How's it going?
Hi. Um, yes, so I have around 15 years of experience in clinical research. I came here in the US almost 9 years ago. Before that, I used to work in India at Parexel as a senior CRA. So when I came here, I had to take 1 year break because I was waiting for my green card and work authorization. So I took 1 year break time, and then when I got my first job in the US, I got selected from. I got an offer from PPD. I joined them as a senior CRA, and then I I switched companies. Like I joined after PPD, I joined Seniors Health, and then I joined Boehringer, and
Nice.
after Boehringer, I joined uh, Innate Pharma. So as of now, I don't have a job because there was a layoff at Innate. Innate is a very small biotech company, but I hold huge experience in clinical research in all four phases, various therapeutic areas, and I have good site management experience from Boehringer and Innate. So at Innate, I used to work with my boss. I used to report to director of clinical operations, and he used to call me. I had a title of senior CRA, but he used to call me a junior CTM because I was doing all those. I I was taking care of all those tasks and responsibilities along with him with his support. So I'm looking for jobs since past 3 months now, and it has happened for the first time that I have not got any interview call in these 3 months. I have got so many rejection emails just by I just send my resume and I do not hear back, or I get a rejection email. And in the past, whenever I used to look for a job in the US, like in 2020 until 2022, everything was good. Whenever I
Hmm.
used to look for a job, I used to get two offers at the same time, and then I had to pick one. So I had options. But now, since past 3 months, I don't know whether it's ATS or what. I mean, I even made some changes to my resume. I took service from Indeed, and I made some changes to the resume so that it gets recognized by the ATS. But I'm still not getting any interview calls. I'm getting just I think they are automated rejection emails that okay,
Yeah.
we are not going
Oh my
to we won't
gosh.
be I mean, we won't consider you at this time. We have more candidates. So something like that. So it is, I don't know what's going to happen, but I am not giving up. I'm trying my best. I'm, I go through several videos, your videos also. Then I look on YouTube, and I mean, I just keep myself um, aware of what's happening in the industry, and I just keep reading so that if I get an interview call, then I'm prepared. But
I
then
wish
it's really
that
disheartening that nothing is coming up, and I don't know what to do, but just keep trying. But I really don't know if I'll get anything this year or will it be next year, and how long do I have
terrified.
to wait?
It's terrifying. I'm
Yeah.
at 450 days or more of looking for work. And I've been checking my phone, checking my emails, sending myself emails to make sure it's not broken. And considering the 2,000 applications, the very few rejection emails that I get, the rest of them are just sitting out there. And my understanding is that there is a concern that AI is being used and the algorithm is basically eliminating candidates with extensive experience. Like if you
Yeah.
have more than 10 years experience, those people are automatically AI cycled out of the application process. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what a lawyer told me he's been seeing from doing interviews and meeting with people and gathering information. The EEOC also mentioned it in its guidance that was released in February that they are reviewing the concerns with bias in the algorithms because for me, 2,000 job roles, I usually have 3 offers if I'm looking for something.
So there
2,000 job offers and nothing goes through. It's just scary.
so here's the thing. There's two different stories here. So there's the experienced people, right? Like Harleen and like Sheila, and then there's people like Tamara. Where is that one? Any tips for new graduates? You all have decades of research experience. No, not everyone here. We're gonna get to Alexis right now. and most of the new grads are just floating in the wind. It's actually and Sheila's basically confirming it's the strategy is a lot simpler for brand new people. You just show up to clinics near you. Just show up. All right, Alexis, I want you to come on. Does get more complex for people like Alicia, Sheila, Harleen, but I have some advice, and there is some things you can do that we're gonna get into. But Alexis, can you share recently? You're kind of what inspired this whole thing. Can you kind of share
Oh,
what happened
oh
recently?
yeah. Okay, so hi, my name is Alexis, and I live in Atlanta, just as a general overview, and I recently graduated with my master in public health. It was early May, and then I came across Dan's first YouTube video about being new to clinical research, and I just went into a deep dive after that first video of me watching it. And then I also watched a 5-hour video. And then I also noticed that he stated repeatedly to go to local sites. And this was last week, I called a total of 48 local sites. Most of them I left voice messages, or the receptionist. I came across a receptionist and I had to leave contact information. But out of those ones, I think it was 5 who told me to email their resume. And then one person out of all of that, it was one site who was like 45-minute drive from my residence. And they recently stated yesterday that they wanted to do an informal interview, take me on a tour on the site to see if we're compatible, to see if I fit, to see if I'm interested, and to know what I would actually get out of working at the site. And it was a gastroenterology site. And then also on, I think it was Saturday, another previous site, they actually left a voice message, and it was the site owner who's a pulmonary physician, and
Wow.
she wanted to see if I could. Well, we were talking, and I was like, I could possibly intern, let's say 3 months, doing patient recruitment. And then she said, sure, you can help with the site director, and also maybe you could help with data entry and seeing if you can dabble into informed consent. And I'm
You
recently
see?
going to reach out to both of them, but those are 2 opportunities that I that I
You see?
came across.
It's actually simpler for if you don't have the experience, but I think the strategy, and we got guys, oh my gosh, in the house right now is a celebrity guest. He's a site owner. All right. Brad, how many people show up to your site and ask for jobs?
I get a lot of emails.
No, not
No.
email. Show
No,
up.
nobody. I don't think anybody's shown up.
You guys hear that? I need everyone to listen. Like a lot of emails. How many do you ignore? Just be honest.
Most of them.
Okay, guys, you're hearing it from someone else. It's not just me. And how many show up again, just for emphasis here?
0.
In your 8 years of owning it?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's just popped in on me.
I mean, we can end the live stream right now. Have a good day, guys. Like, no one's doing it. There's something about supply and demand. Sheila, you brought up like 2,000 applications. I really think even for, like, it's obviously easier for entry level people to show up because they've got nothing to lose. But if you're experienced and you're looking for jobs and like the tech vendors, maybe they're not hiring. I do think you guys can go to like local ACRP chapter meetups. I think they're free.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm a single mom. So when I say I haven't been working for 450 days and no income, I don't have any extra income. So I had to create an LLC because you can't join any of those innovative groups or teams without a business associated. And I joined CETUS, Fuse, AA, AS, the new group ARPA-H, and tons of these innovative groups to really get like visibility, and sending cold outreach emails and those sorts of things. So I've taken so many different avenues. The ATS software tracker, I ran my CV through that a couple times. And, I pretty much pulled out all the stops and all things that I can think of, besides traveling, because I can't, at this point, I can't afford it. I'm
I
living
got
on
you.
donations at this point.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult when you've been unemployed for an extensive amount of time and you've eaten through all of your reserves. I can't afford to even sign up for memberships. I've talked to a couple and
Yeah,
they've
that's
been
ridiculous.
complimentary and give me a free membership, but for the most part, you're paying $500-$600 if you want to join any of these things.
Yeah, these paid membership things should be outlawed. I think there's no value, but I'm talking about the free stuff. But if
Mm-hmm.
nothing else, like especially in a bad job market like now, Sheila, Harleen, Alicia, go to like local sites in your area, like Brad. I mean, there's people like Brad, there's people like me. I can also confirm as 3 years in Yuma clinical trials and 0 people have showed up to my site, like 0. Meselu asks, how do you search the sites? You Google. You Google, you go on clinicaltrials.gov, like Alexis said. She said it took her 6 hours on the first day, 3 hours the next day. And you don't Google like the big places. Like if you're in Atlanta, Emory, we've had people from Emory on the podcast before. I mean, they don't necessarily care. You need to find like Brad Hightower. Brad is bootstrapper, right? He's looking for talent. The fact that Sheila, you said AI weeds out a lot of things with algorithm. In reality, humans weed out a lot of people by they try to look for passion and like who actually wants to do this. Like my worst fear as a business owner is I hire someone who I think has a lot of potential and in 2 weeks they quit to find another job because it pays more or whatever the case may be. Like, so I try to filter out that, like, if someone actually shows up, this person really wants this. Like, they're not just sending emails. So I think actually going to sites, even if you are experienced, do you know how many sites need like quality assurance people to check their source, their regulatory? I got an email from one of our clients, a site owner in Florida. He's asking, and I told them no. I told him hell no. He said, we got a cold email from an auditing group. They want to do a mock FDA audit. They want to charge $15,000 to do this mock audit. I told them, hell no. We have CRA
What?
Academy interns. I'm telling you guys, Sheila, do you think if you walked like to this site's in Florida, by the way, maybe we make a connection. All right.
Okay, yeah, I did see that there are a lot of biotechs popping up in Florida. So
No,
now
but
that
you
I
need to go to the sites. There's
walking
in
in,
Florida.
yeah.
Florida is site capital of the world. You just go to sites and say, "Hey, I can do QA for you. Let me do like a day for free. If you like it, I'll do the entire week
So
for you, and then enter
I'm
your dollar amount."
actually
We're
on
losing.
the biotech side. I've never actually worked.
Sheila, we're losing your connection. We're losing
Okay,
you.
I can hear you, but yeah, I can definitely go to sites. I'll definitely try that one.
Sheila, I'm telling you, Sheila, Harleen, Alicia, there's charlatans out there. Okay, $15,000 to do a mock FDA audit. It's nonsense. Like, Brad, what do you think about this? If Sheila showed up and said, "Hey, I'll do it. Like, just pay me like $300 for the day. If you like it, I'll do it like regularly." And then you do that with like 10 in Florida. You can do that with like 20 sites.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
not a bad idea. I know I told
that's
Dan,
why I
like, I'm
launched my
terrible
business.
when it comes to career advice, but I definitely would hit those sites.
Oh,
So
yeah. And that's kind of why I started my own consulting business, because I noticed that even though I'm not getting called in for these jobs, I am getting a lot of questions from people, and they want to set up meetings and get my opinion on things. And
Exactly.
it's like, I'm not working. So if you, I might as well start charging if I'm going to be doing this, because I've even noticed some companies that have hired less experienced talent for roles I've applied for, they somehow found my name on LinkedIn and reached out and asked me how to do the job. And I'm like, so are they really doing that? Hiring less experience and say, hey, she applied, she knows what she's doing, go ask her on LinkedIn. That's kind of
Strength
weird.
is in the number. Strength is in the number. Look at what everyone has different advantages, disadvantages. Your advantage is you have experience. Your advantage is there's a bunch of sites in Florida, right? Your disadvantage is you're overqualified for a lot of jobs. So use it to your advantage. Those sites need help. Maybe one doesn't want to pay you full time, but maybe 15 of those want to pay you like a couple hundred a week to do some QA stuff. Like, it's a no-brainer. Alicia, you too.
Yeah.
I was
And I
I
just
was
set up a meeting.
I was going to ask. So in my instance, since I'm wanting to go to the CTM route, since that's kind of like at a standstill or whatever, that's still a good idea for me to travel to sites, show up and say, hey, can I do X, Y, and Z? Offer some kind of services. That's what you're saying?
That's
For
the
Yeah.
myself,
best thing.
for me personally.
If
Yes.
you can say that you've had hands-on site experience, you've seen the inner workings, that is perfect, especially if you want to transfer to the pharma or CRO side. Even though
I
a
am
lot
on
of
the
people don't,
CRO side.
yeah, they actually love that experience because you see how things work on site and you can relate to the site staff and
Okay.
the coordinators. So that's something that you can really play up on, in your resume. And it's funny because I've gotten 4 people jobs because I also do mentorship and I'm still looking myself. So feel free to reach out with any questions.
See, what's crazy is I was thinking about going to sites. The nearest site is like in St. Louis and Memphis for me. So I would have to travel about 2.5, 3 hours away to get to a site. But I thought, well, who cares? Whenever I'm free, basically, in my downtime, I can just go. I have nothing stopping me from going to hitting up these sites in person and letting them know this is what I can offer. What do you need help with? I can sit now. Now I'm really going to do it.
Even more so. And then there's another thing that comes up. And Harleen, in LA, it's the same thing. It's almost as saturated as Florida. You can do this in LA too. Like, it's better to do that and have like your own LLC, sole proprietor, than you don't even need to make LLC, just your own self going out. You're self-employed now. You're doing site audits. You're doing like sites are busy as ever. Brad, how busy is your site right now?
Yeah, I think we have like 18 studies in startup right now.
Wow.
In startup, how many in ongoing, like screening or just seeing patients?
Yeah, about 50, I think, that are open.
And how many staff do you have, like full time?
16 now, I think.
Busy.
Probably not enough.
No, it's not enough. And then remote, like another thing. All right. The reason I say go locally is because most people do not do a good enough job networking, promoting themselves. This is one of the reasons we have SOS, Save Our Sites. All right. Like, part of it is like a big cohort of it is job seekers. We try to make it affordable for people to show up. We're thinking about doing local chapters like ACRP. I think ACRP local chapters are free, and I think they're in every major like city. Not all are organized well, but you don't have to be a member of ACRP to go to their local chapters. I think that's one of the things they do well. You can just show up. I know Florida has it. Like, you can just show up and start networking with people. But the going in person is like the caveman version of networking because most people don't have a network. They haven't been networking. So you go in person, that's like the most old fashioned way to network, like knock on your door. Now we have like tools like the internet. Sheila, I know you have a website that you've been working on to mentor people, like LinkedIn. I mean, you guys, you probably haven't didn't know each other before. You know each other now. LinkedIn is a way to start networking with people. But once you get that virtual part down, you're not restricted to your geographic area. Like a lot of sites have switched to eReg, eSource. You can start offering these services virtually to people as well. It's just a matter of them finding
Oh, I
you or
know.
you finding them. Yeah, we got to think different.
This is great
Melly said,
advice.
how about pharma?
Yeah,
Stay
you know,
away. Pharma's not going to do anything right now. They're on a hiring freeze.
they don't know what they want to do because they wanted to start because they were disappointed with a lot of the CROs. So the goal was to start pulling in the clinical operations piece and actually have studies run internally, which is a big disaster waiting to happen. And so they're kind of in the middle because they start with the hiring and this is what they want, and then it goes on pause and they start restructuring again. So there's a lot of that happening in pharma. They're trying to decide if they want to try to insource as much as possible and outsource as little as possible because they're not happy with the CROs. So, one of the things I want to market is the power of using technology and not intentionally, not moving forward and evolving into the digital and data, realm because it's more money to do things manually, which doesn't make sense. So,
Okay, I want to hear from Alexis, Harleen, Bhavana. What are your thoughts on this? The Alexa's already on her way. I already know you're gonna get hired soon because I know your situation. But that's
For
what do
me
you
in the
guys think?
pharma, I think for me with with any company, whether that's pharma or biotech, I try not to limit my options. Especially with now I've noticed that I've gone more leaning onto medical clinics, such as the one that I'm going to do the informal interview. I didn't know that they did clinical research. I didn't know that there was actually nearby research institutes who just do clinical research. So just going online and seeing what's out there, most people wouldn't even know about this. Most people that I've come across just say to, oh, apply to Emory University. And I do use that as a backup, but I think right now I'm more focused on seeing the potential opportunities such as the intern opportunity or the informal interview that I have as soon as just to see what's out there for me
You're gonna kill
instead
it.
of
Just
just clicking instead of just clicking on instead of just sending out my resume to a black hole.
you're gonna kill it. Just make sure you study that therapeutic area well. Like go on
Mhm,
clinicaltrials.gov and look at some recent studies with that indication. Know the
mhm,
assessments, like the primary endpoints, the gold standard assessments for whatever disease that is. And
mhm.
you'll impress the hell out of them. Brad, I mean, thank God for small businesses, man. For the industry's trying to push. Can you imagine? Let's just sidebar for a second. Can you imagine if DCT, decentralized clinical trials, actually worked and it pushed out small sites like us? Do you think they would hire? We would have none of the places hiring right
Yeah,
now.
we could be in the same situation as everybody else.
The small sites, guys, the mom and pops. Okay, Harleen, you're in LA. I'm actually very excited about you. Monica Quitiva owns a site in LA. I'm gonna put her on the spot. Clarity Clinical Research. Just Google it and go show up at her door and just tell her Dan sent me to here. She's gonna
Oh,
hate me.
okay.
Harleen, how many sites did you go to in person? Let's go. Be honest.
Uh, for monitoring?
No, like you right now seeking a job,
Oh,
how
no,
many
no, no,
sites
no,
did you
no.
go?
I no, I didn't do that at all.
All right. It's supply and demand. Brad just said 0 people in 8 years. But probably
No, but I'm really curious to know, like, how does it work? Like, I never see. This is the first time that I'm not able to find anything remotely, like virtually applying, sending
right.
applications. Nothing is happening, but it has never happened in the past. Like, whenever I used to apply, I used to get 2 offers in 1.5 month. But I don't know how personally going to the site works. Like, whom do you talk to and what do you? I don't know.
You
I
find
mean,
someone that looks like Brad or someone that looks like Monica. What is your skill, Harleen? What
uh-huh.
do you think your top 3 attributes are that a site might be able to use?
um, I am good at source data verification, ETMF, and CTMS.
Okay. Do you know how many sites in LA? I know like at least 5 that are horrible at those things. Like they
Mm-hmm.
don't even know where to start. Like you just show up and say, "This is what I do."
That's actually all pharma and CRO across the board. So you're saying sites, but yeah, that's something I've been really digging into. It's not just the sites. So if you have that experience, that's awesome because a lot of the sponsors, especially, they know that inspections are really going to start kicking up soon, and they're not going to be happy with the results of those audits. So you could definitely use that for your benefit.
Yeah. Harleen,
Really.
you know how many sites in LA use paper reg
Mm-hmm.
when they probably don't even know that Viva has free e-reg. Free.
Yeah, I
And you
have.
can just
Uh,
show
yeah, I have used Viva even as EDC and for ETMF.
okay, so you go to those sites and say, "Hey, I'm not going to charge you anything right now. If you like what I do, we could work out like a monthly stipend. But right now, I'm just trying to keep my resume updated. And you
Mm-hmm.
do this until the market improves. And then, like Sheila says, you do the same thing with sponsors and CROs. But then you don't have to go in person with those pharma and CROs. The market hopefully improves like next year, the year after for pharma CROs. But for sites right now, it's hot, and these sites don't know what they're doing. Like you're just stuck in a box. That's why you need to go and like 5 sites today.
So I think I'll stick to my plan that I did in India. I'll just show up with my resume and hope
Yeah,
that my CRC experience back in India would help.
I mean,
yes,
and I'd say, I mean, as somebody who's runs sites, I mean, that's a lot more impactful than the random email
Uh,
or people who go to my website and like submit because I don't have a career posting section necessarily, but people go on the website and are and I'm experienced looking for a job. A lot of times those do get ignored, but if somebody shows up at my door, I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot more compelling, right? I mean, also it tells you something right off the bat about that person, that they're going to show up and make shit happen, which is what you want. If you're running a small site, you need that.
yeah. And there's 2
yeah,
type of people
sure.
show up, right? There's
Also,
the research naive, and then there's the people like Harleen, Sheila, and Alicia that are not research naive. So those are 2 different things. The first one's like, "Hey, you want to intern here?" And then if you're good, like we'll hire you. The second one is like, "Well, what can you actually do?" Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know about Viva's free. You can set that up for me? Really? Wow. And you can help
I didn't
manage
know
it?
about
Okay.
Thank you. I didn't know about that.
I know, that's why we do these things. That's why we do, because everyone gets stuck in like their little world. This is what I know, but there's a big world out there, guys, and it's scary for sites. Like
Oh, this
sites don't know what
industry
to
is
do.
massive, massive industry. I mean, I've been finding in between looking for jobs, I've been exploring all of these websites. Like there's the NIH website where you can electronically make your protocol, and you have actual sponsors and all trying to figure out how to do
Sheila, we're losing you.
this
We're losing you, but I'm with you in
when
spirit, like
it's already done
100%.
and sitting there in a website for it to be used. So,
Sheila, we're losing you, but I'm with you in spirit, like
oh
1,000%.
yeah, there's so much out
Thousand.
there. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, and if you go to a site, I'm telling you right now, guys, there's a business here. Sites, I know, Osfly Girl, the sound's cutting out, I know. But listen, there's sites out there that are so busy. Like Brad at least has like 12 staff. There's people like Brad, maybe not as many studies, that have like one or two people. So if you and the last thing that coordinator wants to hear is let's like I'm gonna set up Viva. No, we're happy with our regulatory on paper. Like I barely have time to do anything. But if you show up and say, hey, did you know it's free? I can do it for you. If you like it, just pay me like 500 a month. I mean, that's a no-brainer for these sites. Oh, you mean you, Sheila, you, Alicia, you're gonna take care of this? Like, sure, sure. And then you do that for like 10 sites, $5,000 a month, right? And not a bad side hustle. It's a business
Yeah.
there, guys.
That's an excellent side hustle. I mean, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. So
We
everybody
need to do
listen.
this like at least once a month,
I
at
am
least twice a
too.
month.
Yeah.
Well, you guys pumping me up.
nice.
If you guys don't do this, I'm gonna start doing this with sites and make a
I'm going to
business
bring
out
as
of it.
many people as possible because I've been having my meetings with job seekers after my postings. They come in my inbox and, you know, I make connections and I meet with them like bi-weekly or something. And so that's why I created like a group where we can all talk because you do need support. It is definitely stressful. You know, we can talk about it in terms of, you know, the effect it has on, you know, your career and where you want to go. But overall, you know, if you're being out of work for such a long period of time and there's a lot of stuff in your personal life that definitely changes if you go from being a working person to being completely poor, your life changes and a lot of people are stressed out. I mean, you can't show it on LinkedIn. You have to try to remain professional, but you need to vent. And so that's why I really encourage people, even in this group, if you can find people that you can speak with and
Yeah.
you know, have that support, I think it's great.
And if you don't have people, you have me. You have everyone on this screen. You have like
Me?
everyone in the
Yeah.
comments. That's at least a dozen. Look, Washington D.C., DMV. I'm only Googled Washington D.C. Right? More places because the big ones, those are too big. More places. Like look at all these no reviews. How about you approach them and say, "Hey, you have no reviews. How about I at least manage like your social media? Like every time a patient comes in, we'll have them do a Google review." Or let's see, find a clinical trial, MedStar, Health Research, Velocity. These are the big site networks buying up everyone. Clinical trial facilities, DC, Biorasi. Sometimes you gotta go to like
Only thing
page
I'll
3.
say, you have to be careful because I've met with a couple of the
Clinics.
small site networks down here, and they will kind of like get you to start, or they want you to start working and not actually pay you. So, you know, I had a call that I thought was like an introductory call with a CEO, and he brought on like his whole C-suite, which I thought was just like a conversation. And it was actually them like firing questions for ideas that they needed to consider and look into. And then you don't hear anything except when they pop up with one more question. What is the name of that person you mentioned, or that, you know what I mean? So you have to be really careful because I've had that happen to me about 3 times with
Oh, of
one
course.
actually taking a whole software platform and publishing it. So yeah, you have to be careful with that. Just make sure you have your expectations set out front and are clear on what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I'm of course. But even that, like just building that skill set of talking to them and I mean, look how far down I have to go to find like the ones that are small. Here's one, Excel Research. That's Nevada though. Let me put sometimes when you get like big cities like this, you need to actually put like smaller towns. Like what was that one place I stayed at? Geez, I'm forgetting Maryland. Not Baltimore, it's too big. Anyone know like cities in Maryland or DC area, like gosh, where was that place?
Arlington, what is that? No, that's Virginia.
No, what was that? Oh my
Bethesda.
gosh.
Bethesda.
All right, let's try that. And then you go to like, I mean, you don't even like the smaller cities. Chevy Chase, 1 star. Capital Clinical Research, Rockville, that was the place. Rockville, Velocity. You just keep going down until you find places that you've never heard of. Like if you've heard of it, it's too big. All right. If once you start seeing like you haven't heard it, then it's like small enough. And it takes time. Alexa said she did this. I'm using Google. She did this clinicaltrials.gov. Took her 6 hours. But I mean, what else are you gonna do that day? You know, here's some MedStar. You can also do this on LinkedIn too, like clinical research site, Bethesda, and LinkedIn will give you some stuff.
And
You know, this
what
is
about
actually
academic medical centers?
What is that? Can you repeat?
Sorry, I was asking, what about academic medical centers that's nearby?
No.
They won't be
Away.
open. They'll probably
Away.
be like, get out of our
No,
premises or something.
listen, people hate me for this. They do not care. Period. There's a few people, they're called the elites, running those institutions. And they do what they think is best for everyone. And they don't care. They know it's a revolving door. I know some places are unique and different. That's great. Stay away. Go to places you've never heard of. Right? Like Yuma Clinical Trials. Find that version in your area. Hightower Clinical. I mean, everyone heard Hightower Clinical because Brad's a stud. But, you know, it's not an AMC. It's not an AMC. Everyone here should have a LinkedIn. This is my area. I'm going to visit sites tomorrow. Alexis, I think everyone needs to go do this. And you can visit the sites on LinkedIn too. Like once you Google and find like 5 clinics you think are good, you find the key decision makers on LinkedIn and you just message them. Don't spam.
I'll say the last full-time person I hired was actually somebody I saw on LinkedIn. They happened to live like in my area, which is also sort of unique anyway. There's not a lot of experienced clinical research coordinators in my area, but somebody just interacted and engaged with, you know, stuff on LinkedIn. And frankly, a lot of it too comes down to sort of timing, because it probably took 8 months after that before I finally was like, hey, you want to come work here? But it's that planting those seeds that, you know, they do take time. And look, this is something I was bad at. I had to get that good at it to run a business, but having those conversations, knowing that 99 out of 100 aren't going to be anything or not going to amount to anything right now. But a lot of that is laying the groundwork for later. So that person you talked to a year and a half ago is going to be like, oh yeah, I talked to so-and-so. Let me reach back out to them a year and a half later. I know that doesn't help right now, but it's a long game. So I don't know. Again, I'm not good with career advice, but that's about the best I can do.
No, it's excellent career advice. You're a site owner, so you're an expert at career advice because you know exactly who you're looking for. That's it, guys. I mean, I'm done talking. I think you guys know what you need to do. It's a matter of you don't want to do it or you do want to do it. That's what it boils down to.
I appreciate this. This was, again, I'll say 100 million times. First of all, everybody listen. These guys know what they're talking about. And then secondly, watch us. You know, I mean, you really have to, you know, just be proactive and not wait for any opportunities. And then whenever you have podcasts like this going on by Dan or whoever, and they're giving you the advice, you really need to take heed to it. So
Hightower live at 9. You still going live today in an hour?
Yeah, I got a call in between. So yeah, about an hour.
You want me to jump on that one or are you good?
You're welcome, man. Always welcome. It's there.
All right,
Standing invitation.
I'll ask my wife for permission. Working from home. Anyone else got anything last minute things or like I want to do this at least once a month. if it gets really popular, every 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for I'm really thankful that I came across your profile Dan and yesterday, because I was just scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw that you're going live. So it was a useful session, but this is something really new. I never thought of it, going to the sites and like in person. I never thought of doing this, but I will work on it, and I will even visit the clinicaltrials.gov website and explore
Yes.
more options.
Yes.
I never thought out of the box, you can say. I
No.
was just applying on Indeed and LinkedIn and talking to recruiters, but it's
Yes.
not working out.
It's because
So,
higher education doesn't teach you this stuff,
yeah.
because education trains you to obey orders. Education doesn't teach you how to fend for yourself. And that's
Mhm.
what hopefully I'm teaching and others, that you're not going to get that anywhere else.
Yes, right. So, thank you so much, and please keep me in mind for your future sessions. I would really love to attend these.
Harleen, Clarity Clinical Research, go to
Oh,
Monica Quitiva is her name,
uh-huh.
and she runs Clarity Clinical Research, and just tell her I sent you there from a live stream.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I will do that.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Any last words from anyone
Thank you
else?
so much.
Thanks so
So
much for setting
I
this up. This is awesome. I've wanted
That-
to do it, but my week is so weird. I get stressed out, and so this is great.
Yeah, and you got so
So
much. Like, I'm actually excited for you guys. I think for the not, like I said, the research naive or the veterans, it's just different approaches, but it's the same like strategy. It's just different. Like what you're pitching is different.
Mhm.
I really
Awesome.
appreciate this, especially
Alexis, you already got hired. I already know. It just
I
hasn't
would.
happened yet.
We're already manifesting, but it's good to have that attitude.
Study those therapeutic areas and like knock the socks off of that doctor. Um,
Mhm.
once they see that you know what was the respiratory area? You said pulmonology?
It
Pulmonary?
the first one for the interning, that was pulmonary, and
Yeah.
then the informal interview one, that's on this Friday. That's gastroenterology.
Okay, so look up some of the things like Crohn's, IBS,
Hmm.
what else are they? Ulcerative colitis, and then look at like on
Hmm.
clinicaltrials.gov, like the assessments for those studies, like the most common assessments, and then just watch some
Hmm.
YouTube videos on what that actually is, and you'll impress the hell out of them. But just by having that knowledge, that means they don't have to train you on those things. They're like, oh well, Alexa already knows that. That's good. One less thing to like worry about with her.
If you go to
Hmm.
CDIT, they have an area that breaks down into therapeutic areas. I know they haven't gotten to all of them, but they do have an area where they go through like some trainings and information about therapeutic areas. So you may find something there that could be helpful.
Where was that?
CDIS, it's let me put it in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you. This is new information, and even with public health, I just graduated with my MPH, so I didn't even know that there was a a route of a field of clinical research, and no, most of the, I guess, the job, I guess, promos would be working for all these big public health agencies. So it's very interesting. This is like a whole new path for me, but I'm willing to dive deep, and I'm already a member of Black Women in Clinical Research organization, and they've helped me a lot too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of free stuff like that too. Latinos in clinical research, and any nationality background can join. Doesn't have to be Latino. I mean, there's so many like free things. It's just we don't have the budgets to promote like ACRP does. So it's harder to find, but coming on things like this, listening to things like this. See Disc, thank you so much for that. I didn't even know about this, so thank you.
No problem.
Dan, I have a question. So for someone, transitioning from an international country, so have a, bachelor's from India and have a CRC experience in rheumatology from India. So, if I want to come to US, like, should I like get a master's again in the
No,
US or
no,
certifications or
no,
anything of that sort
no.
to maybe
Find a
more
rheumatology.
appealing for the US?
No, no, you're just gonna waste time. Do that
I
when you have.
no,
Okay.
I have 3 degrees and I have my master's, and I'm still sitting here. So don't throw your money into.
Okay.
Find rheumatology sites and go to them. And then once you get established, like you want the masters, you can get the master. And sometimes the employer will pay for part of your education too.
All right. Thanks.
That's it, guys. Everyone, look, thank you so much. I'm happy to do that. If you guys like this, like let us know in the comments. We'll do more. Like I'm thinking once a month, but maybe twice a month. I don't know. If the market gets worse, I hope it doesn't get worse, but maybe it's gonna get
I can
worse.
do it every day at that point.
If you
24
guys do this every day, Sheila and Alicia and you guys, if you did this every day, I
Oh,
think you
I'm
would get
messaging
something.
and calling. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just have to. You have to. And you get leads too. People will, throw leads your way.
Yeah.
Still the same thing happens, but just the support is good.
Humans are social creatures. Like it's in our DNA. Good things happen when you get out and talk to people.
Mhm.
That's what I noticed. Like
Mhm.
generally, I mean, it could be negative things too, but generally the positive overcomes the negative. Like when you're doing social things, networking, biz dev, like generally action, entropy, right? Um, like movement is life. Stagnant is death.
Mhm.
So that's it, guys. I gotta
Yep.
go. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Go connect with everyone. Catch y'all later. Bye bye.
Bye.
So much. Bye.